Let's focus now on the investigation into the disturbing crash landing in Toronto. Elijah Westbrook covers transportation for us. Elijah, this happened in Canada, but we understand there is U.S. involvement in the investigation.
That's correct, Mary. So this is actually a joint investigation between the Canadian NTSB and the American NTSB. And this is because the flight, as you mentioned, originated here in the U.S., specifically in Minneapolis. And so in a situation like this, the two agencies are tasked with looking at several elements, including the plane's black box. It's a data recorder that tracks the plane's movements, as well as any communication between, let's say, the pilot and air traffic control. So investigators will be looking at that. Also, they'll be diving deeper into questions pertaining to the weather, right? As we see right now on our screens, you could see the weather was not ideal for, planes taking off and landing, at least at that time when the plane came in. So there are a lot of different factors that investigators will be looking into.
I think the one thing we can all agree on is the work of those flight attendants. Can you imagine?
Yes.
I mean, I know, they're first responders. When there's an incident like this on a plane, they are the first ones to help. And to get all 80 passengers and crew off this plane when it's upside down. Let's talk about the construction, though, of these seats. You mean, you can only imagine this plane flips over. Luckily, you're buckled in, but you're upside down at this point.
Can't even imagine.
And these seats save the lives of these 80 people.
Absolutely.
And these seat belts, of course.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about the plane itself for a second. So this was a CRJ 900. It's a regional jet, very similar to what we saw, unfortunately, in that mid-air collision in Washington, D.C. just a few weeks ago. It's a little bit bigger than the plane that we saw just a few weeks ago. But again, aviation experts say the seats on this plane actually help save the passengers' lives because these seats can withstand up to 16 Gs. That's 16 times the force of gravity. But they only really work if the passenger has their seatbelt on. And so the fact that everyone managed to get out safely despite some of the reported injuries, many of them minor, of course, it's proof that having your seatbelt on during your flight is important. You have to listen to the flight crew when they do those safety demonstrations because you never know, unfortunately, if you'll end up in an ordeal like this. But it's amazing that everyone was able to safely evacuate despite the injuries and no deaths to report.
And we do understand one of the children who was in critical condition is now in stable condition.
Stable condition at the hospital.
All right, Elijah Westbrook, thank you.